hello divas, hello stuntalinas. Every now and then, you know, I just come and go. And right now I'm coming. And then afterwards I'll go.
Sugar. Sachet away.
Like, it's not the vibes.
I am sorry, of course. The aspiration is to keep going, but girl, can't always be like that. But I'm back today. I've started that my videos don't seem to have like a sense of theme. Like, I do have some theme ideas, but it's like I'd like to think small enough now to where I don't really need to commit to doing one thing for my entire like YouTube channel. While I'm small and while I'm at a point where I could just do the videos I want to do, I'm just gonna do those videos, you know.
Okay, work.
I've recently watched, okay, I had never seen the movie Willow before. I think it was like 2 weeks ago I finished watching it all. So I had never seen the movie Willow and I hadn't watched the series yet. I saw the series and I was like, oh, it looks good. Like, I'm very into D&D, I'm like high fantasy adoration. I love all of that. And I do want to say, before saying any spoilers, like, there will be loose spoilers. I'm not going to say like the exact plot that happens, but it's more so just to critique loosely the series and people's reaction of it, because this video is going to be going into a lot of what I think people have been way too harsh on this show. I'm gonna start now.
Well, took you long enough.
One of the biggest issues of the show, it's quite a modern thing, it's a modern problem, whether these characters wouldn't fit in, so they have a modern character. Now, I've seen some pretty frustrating videos on this same issue, but there's a girl I watched and I did not like her video whatsoever. She was kind of gross, no shade. There's just so many videos. After I finish watching it, I'm that kind of girl who's gonna like look up all the stuff like, oh, ending explained, missed details, Easter eggs, all that. So when I finish watching something, I love to like absorb all the content online. And a lot of the reviews were like negative. People did not have nice things to say. I think people need to cut it some slack because it's a really well produced show. I think one of the few issues you can have, and I wouldn't argue with, is it felt fast paced, but there was 8 episodes and they had to squeeze a lot in. Here's another issue, and the video I watched, this woman went personal on this actress. So there's a character called Kit. She struggles with the edgy teen, like modern character in a ye old setting.
You're picking out my clothes now? Or am I 6 years old?
Well, I shouldn't have to, but when you neglect your responsibilities for your hobbies, you leave me no choice.
Like, she's the edge character, okay? She's like, oh, she's gonna say something sarky, like, you know. There's a bunch of examples of them, and most of the time, I don't know if you relate to me, but I don't care for those characters, and it was the same in this. I didn't care for Kit's character. So this Kit character, she didn't really fit into the setting, and there was a lot of characters to jump between. So I believe there was like 8-ish characters to jump between to like, and it wasn't like they could each have a starring episode. They did have episodes where one character got more of a spotlight than others, but essentially they were trying to like shove them all into one thing. It was a lot, okay? It was a lot. I'm not denying it. They squeezed a lot in the episodes that they had. I think it could have done with, like, okay, I think the expression is called trimming the fat.
So you think I'm skinny?
There were some things that didn't need to be in there, and some things that could have done with more. Like, obviously there was a big time gap. I think in the movie world, I think it was 20 years as well. But like, Bowman kind of appears out of nowhere. You love to see it. He was a cool character, but he needed a lot more character depth. Like, okay, this was a similar thing. I feel like can we all just agree that we have an issue in modern movies that not everything needs to be funny. Not every character needs to be comic relief.
Mother has arrived.
Thank you.
Vomit was like the single heaviest comic relief character, so it kind of falls on him. But then everyone else had like witty one-liners and like, ooh, quirky, look at me. Like, I'm not taking the situation seriously. So I think it would have been good if he was just that character and not everyone doing it. Because every time other people start making witty comments and like they start trying to be comic relief, it takes away from the actual intended comic relief character. That being said, Bomb is one of the more redeemable characters because he's still likable and he's not like, he doesn't take away from the moment except for that one part in episode 8.
And no.
There's other characters like Jade. I did really like Jade. I liked her more than Kate.
Get her, Jade.
That being said, I saw a note that was saying Jade didn't really need to be in the story, and I don't want to say she didn't, but she didn't actually have much to contribute. There was in fact one episode that was, I don't want to say like committed to her, but she kind of had a moment in one episode, like a big portion of it, and I thought, like, you could have done something with that there, but it goes nowhere. After that episode's over, it's not referenced, and she just strokes it off as if she hadn't just found out this big part of herself. I don't want to say anything that's a spoiler, because I want you to go watch it. It's a good show. It's very well put together, and if you like anything fantasy setting-esque, you will live. You'll live, honey.
No, I don't think you understand. I'm obsessed.
That being said, there was a lot to like skim through. So with Jade, I think she could have been implemented a lot more. Right now, there's supporting characters and then there's supporting characters. That's what she was like. She's in the main cast, but she doesn't even have ties with a lot of other characters. Like, I don't think she rarely speaks to Willow. She rarely even speaks to Alara. Like, that's what I'm talking about. And here's another thing too. For the series being called Willow, I'm okay with bringing things back. Like, there's been a big issue in production recently with shows where it's all just revamps, bringing something back, like using something that already has a successful name. And honestly, I didn't know that Willow was that successful. I'm hoping it was. I hope it was a really big deal, but it wasn't a huge thing to me. So the fact that they stuck with that name, and I found that they didn't actually use the character Willow that much. In fact, they still undersold him. And I think given it's been 20 years and the people who are coming like, oh, I like that movie, and they're watching this series, they're coming because they want to see some Willow action. And I think they downsold him a lot in this series, and it's kind of a shame because you would think, given 20 years had passed and he was the main character of the original movie, he would have had this big growth or cool character moment. He did have a few, but nothing like otherworldly slay.
There isn't a task that I can't handle.
There's this theme called Great Sorceresses, and he constantly gets undermined and undersold. But, you know, I think don't be afraid to make him a strong character. From the original movie, there was these two big figures. One was called Chilindria, and another one, you'll have to excuse me, I forgot her name, but she was a great sorceress. And in this series, there doesn't seem to be that figure, but I think Willow could have been that figure, and he only intervenes when he absolutely needs to. I think that should have been his position, but even when he intervenes, it's not like he saves the day. It's like things are already going a certain type of way, and then when a bad thing happens, after it's too late, then he shows up. But I think maybe he should have been more present in a series literally called Willow. That being said, next point, there's a character that focuses around, I don't want to spoil too much of the plot because, again, you should go watch it. I love the series.
Absolutely not. Not me. Certainly not I.
It's great, it's gorgeous, it's done.
So stunning, so stunning, so stunning. Stun. Thank you.
There's a character called Alara. I'm kind of giving some Alara right now.
Yes, bitch. Work.
She is like, she's the 0 to 100 superhero.
So what is this? Super Saiyan with blue hair dye?
And it's a shame that they needed to make her this like, listen, I think strong women make strong women. I don't think you need to have a witty catchphrase or make comments to prove that you're a strong woman. And they had a moment in episode 8, but she's like, I don't want to do this. And you and anyone in this world can't make me. But up until that point, she had not had that kind of characteristic or that moment. so it felt kind of out of place. She was on her way to becoming this strong character, and then before she's even there, she's making these big like, and what bitch? Like, it felt premature, and it felt out of place with the character. The main issue I have is people's reaction to it. I think they're going in way too harsh. Like, I'm not saying it gets a free pass because there's not many shows like this. Honestly, you search fantasy in Netflix, Disney, Amazon, I don't know. Any streamer, any series, like, they're very far and few between. And this is on par with the other stuff. Like, okay, Lord of the Rings, respectfully, I do like it. It's crazy long. And it's very overwhelming for, like, if you wanna, you can't really watch let me just watch one Lord of the Rings movie. Like, you don't really do that. But as for this, I think it could be a strong contender in the fantasy genre. And I think people are going in way too harsh on it. Because people don't critique other shows with the same level. And I think it's because it doesn't have I'm not sure if it has a book to fall on, but it's been such a big gap that how you would produce a movie back then is not how you will produce a movie now. So they do need to keep things in mind. And there was another critique too, that it was trying to get woke points.
Mother has arrived.
No.
But I think outside of this one modern character, there's like a lesbian relationship. And I think if you're pointing that out to be like, oh, they're trying to get woke points.
It's homophobic.
They really don't make a big deal out of it. It's very much like, oh, I'm shy but I like her, I'm shy but I like her, and that's it. And then another character gets teased to be bisexual. Does it really matter? Like, him being bisexual didn't change anything about the character. And it doesn't hint at anything. It's not like, it doesn't change anything. So I think getting woke points, I think, was stupid.
Get a grip, get a life, and get over.
There wasn't any, like, there wasn't a non-binary character where the villain misgenders them and they're like, actually, they go by they, them. Like, it was none of that. So I don't know where this mentality of it being a woke, like, oh, they're just trying to get woke points. I found it good for the inclusion. Bitch, if you're bitter that they included some LGBT action, cry about it.
Get her, Jade.
I don't think people should be being as harsh on it. It was really well made. The story is simple. They did squeeze a lot in, but at the same time, they only had 8 episodes. And when you think about, Lord of the Rings is the first one coming to mind now, but think about other fantasy stuff. Lord of the Rings has what, like fucking 10 movies that are all 3 hours long. Like, Willow had not even half of that.
Leave Brittany alone! Please!
Just try and put your mind in, like, they need to squeeze all this content into a compact series. And yes, you can comment that they didn't focus on the right things at all the appropriate times. Totally, I'm at peace with that and I would agree with that. That being said, it's still a good series. It's not like it deserves the backlash that it's getting, I feel. That's how I feel anyways.
And that's why I said what I said.
That's my opinion!
I hope you enjoyed me talking about it. Like, I think so many people, as soon as like 1 or 2 people start being negative, it becomes a train of like, I hated too, and here's what I hated. Like, the actual show hasn't done anything wrong. So I don't think they deserve the flack that they're getting, given the production, and it was just a good series, okay? Maybe I'm smooth-brained, maybe I just enjoy the simpler things, but they didn't actually do anything wrong, okay?
Do you ever look at someone and wonder what is going on inside their head?
Yeah.
So I don't think they deserve this hate train that the internet is giving them. And, like, I don't support the bandwagonery. So I hope you enjoyed me defending Willow. And if you have seen it, I hope you enjoyed it too. But if you haven't, I hope you go and enjoy it. That being said, I'm going to tune out for this video. And my 2 years is actually coming up. So that might be my next video. Is that not crazy? 2 years on hormones? That's a little ridiculous to me. So if it's not that, I'll see you in the next video. Like I said, I'm going to try and not leave it for too long. But thank you for watching. Thank you for staying. And I will see you soon. Goodbye.